All right, welcome back everybody. This week we're going to go all the way back to 1958. This is Chuck Berry and Carol, and just such a great rock, like on the 10 Commandments of rock songs. Sorry, in the 10 Commandments of rock and roll, true rock and roll songs. This has got to be on the 10 Commandments, right? This has to be on the tablets. It's sort of like the I don't know, twin or younger brother of Johnny B. Good, whatever you want to call it, whatever. It's greatness. There's a little bit of nuance on some things that are different about Carol versus Johnny B. Good. And we're going to go through those. I'm going to talk about a little bit the style that you're going to hear on the rhythm guitar. I'm going to take you through all the licks and all the way through the guitar solo, and talk a little bit about like what's happening on all those little licks. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about just like, why is it? Like, why are these riffs so magical? Why all these years later are everybody still sort of playing them and love learning them? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. So if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please jump down, click subscribe, ring the bell. The bell will tell you when I drop new content. I do that every single week. Now, all my videos have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for ways to support the channel, I appreciate that. There's thanks, just like throwing a tip in the tip jar. Even better, you can join my Patreon page where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the songs I do on YouTube, just like this one. And there may be some merch down there. So anyway, links in the description, so check it out. All right, so I have a 1967 ES335, and that's what we're going to go with today. It's the most Chuck Berry-ish kind of guitar that I've got, and we're going to play it with that. It's not, I don't think it's what he used. I don't think he used a 335 on the record. But one of the things that we're going to talk about, and I'll let you hear, is there's very plainly two guitar tracks basically going on. There's the main sort of track that runs throughout, and it's got all that stuff, and rhythm. Got the rhythm stuff going on. And then all of the leads that you hear, if you notice, listen to the tone. Very, very different. Listen, it's very different. In fact, it doesn't even sound like an amplifier to me. It sounds like it's plugged right into the board. It has that sort of sound to it. And I haven't done any research on that, to verify if that's true, but it sounds like that to me. And brilliant, right? It just completely sets the sound apart from the rest of the rhythm. So I've got a couple things going on. I'm going to be running through, all the gear settings are going to be down below, but I am running through an amp. I'm going to go through my JTM, or my studio JTM 45 here. And I'm also running direct into my DAW. I'm going to try and replicate the sound of the leads that are sort of going right into the board, I think. Or however he's doing it. I'm going to try and emulate some of that tone a little bit, but listen to it next time. It's different. The guitar tones are different. You can pick it up. Okay, so the opening Carol riff, very much like Johnny B. Good, but it's not Johnny B. Good, right? But it's a little different. And the very famous scene of Keith Richards and Chuck Berry on Hail Hail Rock and Roll, the movie in the 80s, I'll link it right here, but the very famous scene where they go at this for seems like hours, where they're trying to play the riff, and Keith plays it one way, and Chuck's like, no, that's not how you play it. And Keith plays it again. It's like, no, if you're trying to get it right, let's get it right. And they just it was fully uncomfortable, and they go off on that for a little while. But here's the main hook. So the first part of it is very much like Johnny B. Good. We're in standard tuning, and this is in C, okay? So that little riff, right? That's the same. That's the same as what we're familiar with, right? We're just moving from a C chord to like a F9. That's what the chords are happening, even though he doesn't play those whole chords. And then here is the riff that makes Carol, Carol. It starts with the pre-bend. It starts where it's a double stop. You're grabbing these third and second strings, but you're pre-bending up here, right? So it's not, this is what they were fighting over. It's not, it's more like you're up here starting like that. Right? And I get it with an upstroke is the way I can sort of get it as I quickly do my pre-bend. All right. And then your fourth chord, excuse me, is F from your C. And on the record, what you're hearing is this. Just those two down there. It's not, he's not doing that. On the chorus, anyway, he's just doing. And then he starts in with the. But it was interesting to me when I listened to it that at least the first chorus, I think the other choruses are the same, but it's not that, it's not the yet, right? It's not that yet. It's just the, it's just those root and fifth, the little power chord, right? And then we move into the verses now. And here's where you do start hearing the, which I'm thinking you're all very familiar with, right? But listening very closely, Chuck every once in a while is doing one of these. He's like hitting this note. And I don't know if he's bending up. It's that little note is in there. And he could just be laying his pinky on and inadvertently hitting that note. Whatever it is. And it's not every time, but it's most of the time. On the F, it's the normal. I don't think he's doing that. But you could. You have that spread. So that's the vibe. That's the vibe on the rhythm guitar. Not, he's not like hitting it super hard. Live, he plays it differently. That's fine. It's his song. Play however you want, Chuck. But we're here to sort of take apart what you did, the greatness you did on the record, right? So yeah, so you hear that sort of rhythm part, and it's sort of, he's not hitting it super hard. It's just there. It's steady. It's rock steady, like that train running down the track, right? So there he is, just laying the foundation for the rest of rock and roll music for the next 75 years so far, or whatever. Right. So that main guitar that you're hearing throughout the whole song, that's the guitar that's doing the rhythm, and it's doing all these. That's what that guitar is doing. And all the other embellishments and leads are an overdub. And that's where I'm now going to take you through that. And the tone is different. The tone's very different on that. And we're going to explore that a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to the top of the song. And that rhythm guitar that we just learned about does its thing. And into the rhythm. It opens with the chorus, right? Oh, Carol. And here's where the first embellishment or the overdubs leads come in. And very sort of understated. And here's the first one. That's it. You're just. everything we're going to do, on these leads, except for one part during the guitar solo, it's all going to be right here in this box off of the C chord, the big bar chord C at the 8th fret. Okay, so that's where we're going to live for most of the stuff. So that, yeah, so we're sliding up. It's like making a C 7th chord, right? Just part of that. And we end up high. I'm gonna learn to dance if it takes me all night and day. Okay, so beautiful, simple, but what happened there? That was a conversation. If you notice the first one, it goes up in pitch. And the second one, down. And we're going to see that as a recurring theme on each one of these that they do, which is such a great stylistic point. Yeah, so let's just break the tone down. So when I played that for you, I was still playing, you're hearing the amp, okay? But I'm going to snap my fingers now, and you're going to hear just the direct sound, okay? Okay? Amp. Direct. Catch the difference in tone, right? That's closer to what's happening on record. That's why I think it's direct. I'm going to call it direct. And then we're in our first verse. Now, every one of these little leads is like an answer to the vocal. It's a pause in the vocal, and the guitar is sort of either, you can think of it as the guitar's doing a retort to Chuck's vocal, or the guitar is doing a version of the vocal that Chuck just did, right? Not matching the melody exactly, but the vibe, the feeling, right? So, yeah, first verse. Just love it, right? Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Just love that. I know you know it's great. But there's another example. The first one went up in pitch, and the second riff went down in pitch, right? So that first one, yeah. And then the second one, when you play them back to back, it makes it super cool. Like, it's like bookends, you know? Then the next one's on the 4 chord. I love that. This is so Chuck. It's just, you're playing with the 8th and 10th fret, and he bends up on the 10th fret when you get to the first string. He does that a lot. That's very Johnny B. Goode, too. Love that little riff. Everything on that riff is 8 fret, 10th fret, except for one spot when he hits that 11th on the B string on the way down. Right there. Love that little bit. So that one went up in pitch, so that means the next one's going to come down in pitch, right? As an answer, a retort to that previous guitar. You just, like, that one riff right there just launched a million guitar play. Like, it's a million guitar riffs, right? Right? Maybe the first time that was on record, I don't know. Love that. And notice on that riff, I tend to reflexively do that bend up to the major third. But I think Chuck, for the most part on this song, he's doing that little Hammer on. Like that. And then your 5 chord. I love that. Ends on that G note, stings that because we're on the 5. Still again in that sort of 8 and 10 box, and throwing in the 11th note on the B. My eyes on you, baby, 'cause you dance so good. How great is that? How great would it have been to hear that for the first time on record? Oh my gosh. My dad did. Dad, if you're watching, this was a year after you graduated college, right? Here we go. And then we're back into our riff. And a chorus. No leads here. And then there's one little riff that happens here that leads into a second round of that riff that's going to take us into a guitar solo. So when we're coming back, just one of those. And here, this little pre-chorus, I'm calling it the pre-chorus, this thing, that. Oop, let me tune up. So yeah, I'm calling it the pre-chorus. This time it's very Johnny B. Good. It starts, almost exactly Johnny B. Good, and then it ends in Carol. So instead of that, it just goes right into. Right? It doesn't have that. It doesn't do it that. So again, with that little riff leading into it, let's put that in context. All right, and here's where the guitar solo kicks in. It sort of steps on that last little bend, the first notes on the guitar solo that's overdubbed. But here's the first phrase. So that's the first little bit. Little double stops there. Love that sort of sweet, that's very sweet there. So all of that part coming together. And then we're going to slide up here to this great little part that one shows up in a lot of songs. I actually learned this riff from Brian Setzer on one of the songs on Built for Speed, actually. And John Lennon, he played that on an early sort of Hamburg recording when they were the Silver Beatles, on one of the songs that they covered. Anyway, here's the riff. I love that. Right? So you're starting up here on, it looks like a piece of a C chord, but if you're listening to the rhythm guitar, the guitar is on the 5 chord. It's on the G. Right? So if you put that in context of makes a G6, but it doesn't sound as pretty as that, right? But we're just taking that shape, 2 frets apart on the 1st and 2nd string, and we're sliding them down 2 frets at a time. Then we're switching to we're just pulling that that little note down to an F. Because now the next chord we've gone to is the 4 chord. So that's the F. That's all about F. That's an F. That's an F. Right? And we end on our C note here. Take it up. All right? So all of those together. See if I can do that at speed. Woo! Love that. And right there, right there, and we're only halfway through the song, how many lead guitar riffs, leads, have been built off of that blueprint? I mean, Chuck is the man. I mean, he is on rock and roll Mount Rushmore. In fact, I would love to hear in the comments from you, if Chuck is on Mount Rushmore, there's 3 other spots. So who are those 3 other people? And one of them better be Little Richard. All right, but let me know what you think. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut the lesson off there. Those of you who are Patreon members will have this all fully tabbed out, and the rest of the riffs, the rest of the leads throughout the end of the song is going to be there for you too. But that'll get you started, and that gives you the roadmap. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Carol by Chuck Berry. And I hope you learned something new. So if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please jump down, click subscribe, ring the bell. The bell will tell you when I drop new content. I do that every single week. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this song, and if there's another song like this you want me to take on and do a lesson on, let me know what that is too in the comments. And until next week, take care, everybody.